Hello, and you are listening to FPcast, the podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I am Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we are talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Specials.
Rogues.
Special rogues.
Lasers as well.
Lasers. Eyeball lasers.
Eyeball lasers. The story of young Cyclops, pretty much, is what we just saw.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
You might have seen from, I don't know, will it be in our title? The film we're reviewing today is called Midnight Special, which is kind of odd. We talked about it on a podcast a while ago when we saw the trailer, and I just can't... I couldn't remember what we saw and that title were paired up, because it's like the most obtuse title in the kind of Reservoir Dogs sort of way. It's like really got nothing to do with the film.
It's from the title of a song, is that right?
Yeah. And I guess the song has the lines, "Let your light shine on me," which is kind of related to what happens in the thing, but not really.
Yeah.
Because it's about... I know, we'll get there. We'll get there later. We'll talk about that.
Midnight Special does not sound like the sort of thing that you would name a sci-fi movie particularly.
No.
It sounds like some, chick flick, coming of age, discovering yourself sort of movie.
At midnight.
At midnight, yeah.
Discovering yourself in your special areas.
Yes, sure.
Ooh. Well, I feel like this was just an awful beginning, because I really want to talk about Rogue One.
Yeah. I mean...
Because Rogue One... a Star Wars story.
Yes.
A story
Which is good, because, it's good that it's a Star Wars story.
In the Star Wars universe.
It'd be shit if it was a Star Trek story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that new Star Trek is a little too fast, too furious. I like it. Anyway, we shall find out. But yeah, we finally got the trailer for Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
The teaser trailer.
The teaser trailer. But it's a good 2 minutes of Rogue One.
It is, yeah. I was not expecting it to be that long, given they were just going, it's just a teaser.
Yeah, very much like about the similar sort of length as the first Force Awakens trailer, and I think we're going to be seeing a quite similar marketing strategy. So, Rogue One launched this week, so let's talk about that. And I want to really dig into this and talk about it for a little while, and we'll get to movie reviews and stuff later. So, brace yourselves, and even if you're not big Star Wars fans, I'm sure you've seen the trailer. I don't know why you would listen to this and not have seen the trailer. We're going to do a bit of speculation and break down some of the elements of it, and maybe we'll even educate you a little bit. Maybe. Because I've seen some of the listeners around the place, and my God, could they do with a little bit of edumacating, a little bit of book learning. Wouldn't hurt you guys to not just listen to everything, but read something now and again. Reading? Is what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
I know, that's so 1999.
Yeah, well, the new Poe Dameron comic just came out this week. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to do some reading. Learn me some words.
Speaking of comics, I started reading. I got a few things in at work, and I read the beginning of Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
And I love
I like the cover.
Yeah,
of that one.
The art's really nice, and I like the design of her, and I like her as a character, but it's very run-of-the-mill comics, mainstream comics, so nothing really to grab me. But then I started reading The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl by Ryan North, and
I've heard that's really good.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's the real deal. Very funny. And I was reading Volume 2 because that arrived first, and... each preceding issue is kind of summed up by a Twitter feed, and that was quite interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Galactus has a Twitter. I was very pleased to see, and it had some nice things. The story I was reading, she was this is nothing to do with Rogue One, but we are going to get there. There were some people that were trapped in the Statue of Liberty's head while robot dinosaurs were rampaging. And they were talking about Squirrel Girl and reminiscing on who she was and what she was about, and recalling stories about sort of other versions of Squirrel Girl, like more traditional ones.
Yeah, right.
And there's one where she was with Captain America, and Captain America had been seduced by Bass Lass, And it decided that freedom was for stupid babies.
Yeah, right.
And that fascism was awesome. So I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Squirrel Girl.
So is the idea that Squirrel Girl is an immortal Squirrel Girl, or that there are different...
It was like... Well,
like the Phantom, like the line goes on?
Well, the people were unreliable narrators, in a way. They were like, oh, I recall it, Squirrel Girl, this is her story.
Okay.
Can't say squirrel all of a sudden.
Squirrel.
That's why
you can
Americans say squirrel.
Squirrel.
And crane instead of crayon. Funny buggers. Yes, Rogue One. Holy crap. So this is a movie set before the events of A New Hope. So...
Yes, so between episodes 3 and 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Closer to 4, though.
Definitely closer to 4.
Nudging right up against 4.
Yeah.
And
backing right up and grinding on it.
And the rebels know that the Imperials have some sort of super weapon, and they want to know more about it. They want to find out what's all this about, and they send off some rogues, some rebels, on a mission to find out more about this thing. And it stars Felicity Jones from The Theory of Everything, and she was in The Amazing Spider-Man, playing Felicia, who would have become Black Cat had...
Okay. Was she in Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Amazing Spider-Man?
I don't remember.
I haven't seen the second one.
I think the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was in... I was looking at her IMDb last night, and she was in a movie called Chalet Girl, which I went, oh my god, I've totally seen that. When I have not actually seen it, I think I've seen the trailer about 400 times for whatever reason. It's very, very bad, and I am, look, I'm on board. The Star Wars people, they know what they're doing with their casting, but they cast Chalet Girl as the lead in their new movie.
Well, she was in The Theory of Everything. That was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but she wasn't the main card there.
Okay. Well, she is now.
Okay, yes.
Everybody, this is the great thing. She's playing a character called Jyn Erso. Mm-hmm. And I love this when we get a new Star Wars name, because when you first say it, one, you're going, who's this actor? What's the deal? Etc. Okay, Felicity Jones is playing Jyn Erso in a Star Wars thing. And it just sounds like absolute gubbins. Mm-hmm. It's just gibberish. Yep. It's like fan fiction. But, a year from now, that's going to be very iconic. We're going to be like, of course, Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones is Jyn Erso. What a character.
I mean, as the years go on, we're going to have so many names to remember, like crazy, weird names.
Yeah, I don't even have all my Force Awakens ones down.
Yeah, and if we think that, remembering 3 movies worth of backseat aliens and crazy storylines and stuff was hard, man, wait till we get like 15 of the damn things.
I know, so it's so weird, because now, I remember hearing Poe Dameron for the first time. You're like, Poe Dameron?
That sounds stupid.
Who's Poe? What's a Poe? I don't know. Who's this guy? I don't know if I like this guy. Now, well, everyone's like, Poe Dameron, son.
Dameron!
Yeah, like everybody loves him. So, and Rey has just blossomed. So, Jyn Erso... I'll be like, hey, I just got the 6-inch figure of Jyn Erso. And you'd be like, of course you did. Because
why would you not?
It's Jyn. I think it's interesting, while we're talking about names, that the names usually tell you a bit about the character. Obviously, Luke Skywalker, he was stuck on a desert planet and he dreamt of walking the skies. Mm. Han Solo... He was a rogue who was very like a lone wolf.
Uh-huh.
Chewbacca, he chewed tobacco.
He did. That's why he was so brown.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
He was born white.
Yeah.
If you've seen his baby photos, and he was gorgeous, by the way.
He was, yeah.
Just this beautiful snowy white coat, and all that chewing, and he could also talk English, but not with a mouthful
of tobacco.
Of tobacco, that's for sure. So there was that. So I think, it's only fair that we should break down this name. So Jyn, I think she's a rebel. She's obviously a bit raucous. We see her fighting, having punch-up with stormtroopers and stuff. So I think she probably drinks gin. Mm-hmm. Talking about space gin, of course. I think also Jyn sounds a bit like the Djinn, as in a genie. Mm-hmm. So I think she can grant wishes. She's desirable. It's like, oh, I'm gonna drink some gin with gin, and then she's gonna grant all my wishes like a gin.
All right.
And Ursa, It's spelled ERSA, but URSA would be like a bear, Ursa. And you see that she's fighting like a bear. So, this is a rough-housing, rough and tumble character.
So she's a magical alcoholic bear.
That's pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's the impression I get. And these
Okay.
are first impressions, of course, but that's definitely the impression I get from this trailer. Now, that's the only name I think that we know at this point.
Yes, I was looking up a few of the other characters on IMDb last night, and they're just as general kind of character types.
The only other character that we recognise in there is Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Of course, who gave the rebels their briefing alongside Admiral Akbar in Return of the Jedi. Now, this is interesting because it's the same actress that played her in Revenge of the Sith. And if you're thinking, I don't remember Mon Mothma in Revenge of the Sith, it's because the scenes were cut, but they are on the Blu-ray. You can watch those deleted scenes, and you did get an action figure. I'm pretty sure, in fact, probably, yeah, look, there it is.
There you go, with a nice little Professor X headset there.
Yeah, on Cerebro, checking out all the Bothans. So that's a bit of fun. Speaking of names again, Mon Mothma is actually derived from, and I've heard the actress explain this herself on a show, Moon Mother.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, right.
So, she's kind of a bit like hippie-ish. But I also noticed that Mon Mothma is an anagram of hot mama. So I think that's pretty good as well.
Yeah,
The just being a single N, which I couldn't fit into the hot mama bit. But yeah, hot mama.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, it gets the point across, so it's not a wasted letter.
I can't remember the actress's name. I think her first name's Genevieve. In the trailer for a second there, I thought it was Eddie Redmayne. And
well, he's so diverse now. He's really branching out. He's playing men. He's playing women.
Yeah, he can really play just about anything. I actually even thought that for a moment there that he was the Death Star, but then I realised that it was just Ray Winston. So I will blow up your planets. Yeah.
I see all fucking Ewoks. I'm gonna fucking smash their little bitch faces in an eye.
All right, Endor, you're fucked. So there was that. So we saw Mon Mothma.
Who was like that was a kind of a oh shit moment because he sort of. It is only a quick kind of glimpse, and she looks so much like the original.
Yeah, it is very good.
Mon Mothma that it's like you kind of have that moment of is that someone new? Is that like a digital kind of them putting the face over somebody else? What's going on there?
There is speculation that the mustachioed dude, who seems to be main dude to Felicity, is Biggs.
Okay.
Although I feel like Mon Mothma, it's so clear that it's Mon Mothma. On IMDb it says Mon Mothma. I feel like if this was Biggs, maybe we'd know about it by now.
Yeah, and if that was going to be like a really big reveal, like they're going to go, oh my god, it's Biggs, and like I would say a good 60% of the audience would just be like, who the fuck's Biggs?
Oh, come on, everyone knows Biggs.
Yeah, but
Darklighter. Where do you think he got the name Darklighter?
I don't know.
Fartlighter.
Yeah, I don't know if Biggs is a big enough thing to kind of for that to be the big reveal.
Makes sense to tie it into one of those rebel pilots,
I don't mind him being Biggs, but for them to be cloaking it and shielding it seems a bit.
Well, maybe
weird.
They're just not at that point yet.
Yeah,
they just haven't had the point to come out and say it. And you go, oh, by the way, he's Biggs.
And you're like, okay. If they had fucking Porkins, now that's a big reveal.
I think that could still happen. And this is the other sort of exciting thing about this. Obviously, there's a lot of new characters, all these new rogues. A lot of diverse characters as well. I know that it's already ruffled some internet feathers about it being another
Male
female lead.
feathers, particularly.
And Disney's feminist agenda. I don't even want to discuss that because I just think that's
so
such
dumb. It's
such
so dumb.
fringe gubbins that it's just nonsense. But yeah, we've got Forrest Whitaker, we've got Donnie Yen.
Yes.
It's really great what they're doing with Star Wars at the moment. I think we should be nothing but happy to see lots of different faces. And it's very much a trailer that is focused on the human element. There are no aliens that I think I spotted in that trailer at all. But then again, I don't think there were any aliens in the Force Awakens first trailer either.
I don't think so.
It was all about introducing you to these key humans and what they were about. So I think they're definitely following suit there. There was something about it that made it feel like maybe it was skewing a little bit older than the regular Star Wars movies as well, in terms of who they were aiming at.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit less... Well, I don't know. I mean, even that first Force Awakens trailer was quite serious and didn't kind of show you a lot.
True.
It feels a little bit less pew pew pew, you know, like it does seem like a more of a kind of espionage-y kind of mission spy type thing.
The music's great, and I love that klaxon.
The piano,
happens,
with the
warning,
siren.
it's so good. So there is a shot of Imperial Guards.
Yes.
There's two red Emperor's Guards with a black hooded figure in between them.
Yeah.
That has to be the Emperor, right?
You would think so.
We haven't heard anything about Ian McDiarmid being cast, but I cannot imagine they would not have him. And he appears to be...
for a movie to be bridging that gap.
Yeah,
like, you know.
and if you got, like, Mon Mothma back...
Yeah.
And he's in Vader's meditation chamber, so I think that's really interesting. And, of course, no Vader either, and we do know pretty much that Vader's going to be a pretty important part of this film. So my feeling is just how the second, Force Awakens, we got that first trailer, and it was like, there are no original characters in here. Like, because they were all original, as in new characters, but not original trilogy characters. And then the second trailer went, here's your Han Solo, and gave us that bridging thing.
Yep.
I feel like this is going to do the exact same strategy where you go, here are your new people, get used to this, and then they go, and now here's the big person that you wanted to see that's going to bridge this whole thing, that being Vader. So, and assumedly, I mean, you can't have the Empire without the Emperor. I mean, he is
absolutely
working all that.
Yeah.
I just don't know why when... I guess we haven't even thought about him yet. I haven't even thought about the fact that he should be in this movie, and of course he should. Like, he should be the one that's orchestrating all of this. But then why aren't they just coming out and saying, oh, Ian McDiarmid's in this thing? So strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's far enough... well, I guess close enough to the movie that, they're still keeping quite a few secrets.
Yeah.
Stuff started coming out about The Force Awakens ages before.
Yeah, not a lot.
And this is only a few months away.
Not a lot has been leaked from this, really.
And a lot of people, I'm genuinely surprised the amount of people that had no idea this was coming out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who had no clue, and then this trailer came out. They were, what do you mean we're getting another Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
And a lot of people were sharing, little infographics as to where this fits in the whole timeline, and no, you're not going to see BB-8, no, you're not seeing Rey in this one, that's not happening, this is 30 years, even longer than that, 40 years prior to Force Awakens.
Yeah, and I don't think they needed to sort of push that messaging at that point.
There wasn't official
they
Disney
had such
kind of
a big
things.
wave of Force Awakens that it's so nice to suddenly go on. There's, were you worried that you had to wait 2 years till episode 8? Here, why don't you watch this in the meantime
and buy all the toys?
And it looks amazing. It's funny as well because obviously it very much looks like A New Hope. Some of those places are so instantly recognisable, like the Yavin hangar. I thought it was so interesting because 20 years ago nearly now, 19 years ago, in 97 you had Lucas do the special editions with the theatrical release. And here you've got a guy that was going back into his old movies and tinkering with them and sort of changing them. And now, 20 years ahead, we're at this point where it almost feels like director Gareth Edwards is making a film inside an existing film.
Yeah.
He's not augmenting it. He's gone back into that film.
Yeah, and just taking
and
a
the
different
sets
branch.
And the elements, and I thought, I wonder if that's going to become a thing. Because that is so interesting to go, we're not going to remake The Godfather, or we're not going to remake... But
we're looking at the perspective from another character.
Yeah, we're going to go back into that world and that time, and we're going to branch off in another direction. I don't know, I just thought... Like, he's really inhabit... And I can understand, we saw Lucas's frustration with Force Awakens, that idea of perhaps they're not doing anything new. They've made a retro movie, and this goes even further back like that. This is very much in, walking around inside this existing older film almost. But, I don't know, it feels so satisfying to me. I'm very excited about that.
And that's a big feat to go back into... an existing timeline, an existing universe, and still make it feel cohesive to that universe and make it feel like it fits.
And Disney were kind enough to send us the high-res stills of the trailer, and I've been looking through those and really sort of taking it all in, and it just goes to show how much overload, and I mean this in a good way, that we have, because there's so much information coming through. There are certain things that I take for granted without even thinking about it. Like, we're so, in the last year, been adapted to the new First Order Stormtroopers and their design, and I really love their design. And I didn't even appreciate or recognise watching that trailer for the first time, so I'm watching all the new characters that, of course, we're looking at classic Stormtroopers again. And it's like, shit, we've got a new movie coming out, and we're going to be watching these classic Stormtroopers as well. Just when I was ready to throw out my old armour, like, I don't need this piece of shit anymore. It's like, oh no, we're still in that world. And of course, there's a new Stormtrooper design, which is the Black Stormtrooper, which is very Vader influenced. He's got, he appears to have a chest plate, which is very similar to Vader, and there's a thing on the front of the helmet on the nose that kind of looks like Vader's breathing apparatus. They're just this morning... we're recording this on Saturday. They revealed the packaging for the Force, for the Rogue One toys and things, and that is the featured head. Is that Stormtrooper? Cool. So I imagine that's Vader's immediate posse that he goes out and fights alongside.
Yeah, and I wonder if people are going to come out and complain as to why Jyn isn't on all the packaging, like they did when Force Awakens came out and complained why Rey wasn't on all the packaging.
They pretty much...
That's not how it works!
Always go the bad guys,
it's never the main character on the packaging, and that's happened for 30 years, so, it's okay, guys.
Yeah,
it's all fine.
Phantom Menace had Maul.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure... I think Sith had Grievous. It's hard for me to remember.
I can't remember.
I think Attack of the Clones would have been either Django or just a clone trooper.
Django, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Django.
Yeah. So...
for me, in the trailer, the most unexpectedly kind of striking image for me was that Imperial officer with the silver uniform and cape and everything, and I didn't realise... until probably my second watch, that it was Ben Mendelsohn.
Fellow Australian.
Yeah, I sort of just went, oh, goodness, who is this striking man? And then I realised it was Ben Mendelsohn. I was like, oh, I'm having some really weird, conflicting feelings right now.
It surprised you that you felt that way? It didn't surprise me when I commented back to you, Space Dad. Because you seem to have a little bit of a thing for the various Space Dads. I think there's definitely some sort of complex thing happening.
Maybe. I'm just really into the older men with authority. What's with that?
Now, he's an interesting looking character. His insignia on his chest is an admiral, but he's got to be more than just an admiral.
Yeah, not everybody gets a cape.
I would say he's a grand admiral.
Yeah.
Because if we remember, Piet was an admiral.
Yes.
And we talked about names before. Piet is a contraction of piece of shit. So
poor Piet.
This guy was definitely more grandiose than him.
Yes, he was. I think people are drawing... I have seen some people put up his picture against a drawing of... I think it's Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
And they have very similar uniforms.
The Grand Admirals were actually introduced in that
expanded universe.
Yeah, Heir to the Empire. Thrawn was one of the first ones that we saw, and they're the ones that get to wear the white uniform. And it looks like they also get to wear like gold epaulets on their shoulders in the expanded universe, which you can't see because he's wearing a cape. But I love that shot of him walking with the cape in the water and everything, because it's one of those images where you go, when you first see him, where you think this looks really great, but this is a standing around in a building costume.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're wearing your white suit and your cape and you're not afraid to walk through the beach in a battle, I think that's pretty rad, because you know, you can always get another cape. They got a lot of money, those guys. Great shot showing the scale of the Death Star when you realise how tiny those Star Destroyers are compared to the array that comes out.
And the that shadow that comes across is so visually confusing at first. Like, you're going, is this
you
a
don't know what
wipe?
you're
Is this
looking at.
what's going on? That was a really cool reveal.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's the shot of Jyn Erso, you know, our old pal Jyn Erso, where she's sitting in the transport and she's looking out at daylight out the window. I have a feeling that that's going to tie into there was a very early teaser for Rogue One that was shown last year or something at a Comic-Con. Which I've seen the bootleg of, and all it was basically a planet, which I have a feeling is that one with the water and the trees, and some TIE fighters flying over the horizon, and you could see the big silhouette of part of the Death Star through the clouds. So this planet was very, very close to the Death Star. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's arriving on that planet and looking out the window to see that there's this big thing in the sky.
Yeah. And how exciting was to see AT-ATs?
I know.
Oh, I never thought I would be that excited to see fucking AT-ATs.
And the other thing I want to say, we had a lot to say about this 2 minutes. Alan Tudyk's.
Yes.
He is doing a motion capture character. I had erroneously stated in the past that I thought that he would be a Bothan, but as has been pointed out a lot on the net from other people making that same mistake, that of course is the second Death Star that the Bothans died getting the information, not the first. So I have a feeling...
I think he's a... on... I don't know if it was on IMDb or some other sort of cast list. He's listed as some kind of like Imperial robot or something.
Yes, okay. Yeah. That's what I think he is. You know, there's that shot of them running and there's the CGI droid running behind them.
Yeah.
Who's sort of skinny and grey.
Yeah.
I think that has to be him.
Okay.
And that's an Imperial robot, because on the back it's got the, you know, that 011 looking design, which is on the back of all the Stormtrooper armours? Yeah, that's on the back of that droid. So I reckon that's Alan Tudyk's, because he seems to be running along with the hero characters.
Sounds plausible.
So there you go. That's some food for thought. Christ, we know some stuff.
How long before the Jyn Erso is Rey's mother thing starts to come out?
Oh, yeah. Well, that has been speculated on as well.
The timeline would work out.
Yeah.
But it's
British.
a little bit obvious, I guess, but you never know. I was hoping the timeline would work out a bit as well. There was a sort of an expanded universe, but in this Force Awakens sort of new universe comic that was brought out that featured Poe's mother quite heavily. She was a rebel pilot, an X-Wing pilot, in the Battle of Endor and previous ones. And I was thinking, maybe we'll have some Shara Bay, and we'll just have so many fucking women fighters and pilots and rebels, and there'll just be so many fucking women in this movie, and then just men will just walk out, those awful men. Not all men. Not all men, hashtag not all men, will just roll out of the cinema in their own fluids from just crying. So much tears.
I will roll out of the cinema in my own fluids.
You will. That's gross.
From sweating at how good the performances were. So, yeah, that's a bit of fun. Rogue One, check it out.
Because you weren't going to before.
In cinemas this December. Only other bit of news that I really wanted to mention was just that we've been seeing bits and pieces of footage from Doctor Strange filming.
Leaping very prettily into the air.
A good look at some of the costumes, and a great shot of Mads Mikkelsen's makeup. And he's in this movie as well, of course. He's in Rogue One.
Yes.
And we haven't seen what he's doing yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, because I think we're generally a pretty positive podcast. Like, we're usually very optimistic about everything. And I don't think it's because we're, like, naive and just, oh, that looks great at everything. I think it's because we're not...
We're choosing to see the glass half full.
Well, we just don't care enough to be angry about things.
Well,
you know,
that
it's
also
like, oh,
as
they're
well.
making a superhero movie about this starring this person, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'll give that a watch. I'll check it out.
There's so
I'm
much
like, that's the
negativity in
worst
the world.
thing.
Why contribute to extra negativity?
But that said, let's be fair, I was not excited about Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange. I did not want him out of all the choices they had. I was hoping that he wouldn't get it. I felt like we're going to see something that we've already seen from him. And that still could be the case, but I will say he does look good. He
looks amazing
as Doctor Strange. He looks great.
Yeah.
So I should have trusted Marvel, and that's usually the message that we send out is like, these people they're not trying to piss you off. They're not like trying to pull one over you. They generally are putting a lot of time and years into this stuff, and they kind of want to make it good, because so they can make money. But
my favourite thing about all the photos and the footage and stuff that have come out is how fucking bored Chiwetel Ejiofor. He looks so fucking upset to be there, and I'm just like, what is happening? Are you there against your will? Do they have something on you?
Like that Idris Elba
yes.
interview that we read.
Exactly like that. And he's just thinking, I fucking did 12 years a slave, and now I'm leaping in the air at nothing.
Yeah. But no, he looks cool. I should have trusted Marvel, because Marvel does make really good casting decisions.
Yes,
and maybe and
absolutely.
he certainly looks less weird with facial hair, because if you had a weird little chin like that, wouldn't you cover it with something as well? Weird little jellyfish of a thing just bobbling around under your sour British mouth.
Yes.
Anyway, that should be a bit of fun. And, of course, no point saying much more about it, because we'll be talking about the trailer on next week's show, because
Yes,
that comes
we
out
will.
during the week. So we can give a full opinions there. We'll actually see him, I assume,
With some magic.
delivering some lines, doing a bit of magic, wrestling some tentacles, hopefully.
Or maybe it'll be like that Harry Potter trailer where there's no magic.
Could be. No beasts. Fantastic beasts. And
You'll
where
just
to
have
find
to
them.
trust us on the Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll find them at some point, but not in
right
this
now.
trailer. And we did watch the trailer for the David Brent movie, which I didn't realise was a thing that they were doing.
Yeah, I follow him. I follow Ricky Gervais on Twitter, and he's been talking about it quite a lot. And
I'm sold. I love that character.
that character makes me cringe very hard, which I think is the intention, but I don't derive a lot of pleasure from the David Brent character. Given the choice, I probably would tend more towards watching The American Office, which is blasphemous, I know, but he just kind of makes me weirdly, not uncomfortable, but I just don't have a good time watching him.
I'm the opposite. I love him. Yay.
Okay.
So you're not gonna see that? You're gonna see that.
Oh, I would prefer not to see that.
Well,
Like, I'm sure it'll be funny. Like, I know it'll be funny. I watched the, what's that? Is it Idiot Abroad or whatever that he does with,
yeah.
thing? And that makes me laugh so much. But, I don't know. He just weirds me out.
You've seen it. And by the way, speaking of, we're reviewing Midnight Special. There's quite a few Huntsman came out this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we going to see that at some point?
Oh, maybe. It's a bit of a slow couple of weeks up until Civil War, so we probably will.
Yeah, like see it in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can hang out for that. And I'll be seeing Jungle Book probably tomorrow, and so we'll be reviewing that probably next show as well. Yeah. So look, stuff's happening. We know, we're aware. But today was about Midnight Special. So should we talk? Let's talk about Midnight Special.
Let's talk about it.
What is it the story of, basically? And
there's not
bearing
too
in
much
mind that, you don't want to be too spoilery, because the movie does not want to educate you too much on what it's about. You're left hanging a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
The trailer, though.
Yeah, the trailer does give you a fairly good kind of idea of the mood and tone, and a little bit of a snippet of kind of what's going on. So it's two men travelling sort of cross-country or across state borders with this boy that the media is reporting that they've kidnapped. But, you don't really know the story of what's going on. And in the trailer, it does show that this boy may have some sort of special powers. Perhaps the government is after them as well. And, they're just going on a journey to get somewhere to do something.
Yeah.
So
And it's called Midnight Special, which makes you won't remember tying to the trailer you saw with the kid shooting lasers out of his eyes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
You're
a
left
very
in a state of confusion.
and you really are left in a state of confusion for most of the movie. It is a very mysterious movie. Every time it kind of feeds you a bit of information, it's just a tiny little wafer thin bit of information, and it's kind of enough to keep you going, but you have a very kind of tenuous hold on your interest in this story, I think. I did enjoy it. I did find the ending fairly satisfying to the journey, but the journey did drag on a bit.
Yeah, it was intriguing. I don't know if it was because I am feeling a bit tired and maybe a tiny bit hungover this morning that I just perhaps didn't have as much patience as the film wanted me to have. That said, it's very well crafted, very well directed. It does move slowly, in my opinion, but the performances
Considering the movie's meant to only take place over a couple of days, it does seem to...
The cast are great.
The cast are fantastic. It's Michael Shannon and Joel Edgerton are the two main dudes.
Edjo.
Old mate Edjo. Fantastic.
Oh, bloody Edjo, mate. Little bloody Edjo.
Fantastic as always.
Little plugger Edjo.
Shaved head looking right spuddy.
Oh, look. I've seen smaller eyes on potatoes, but not much smaller. Little bugger. Little tacker.
Kirsten Dunst is in it too, and old mate Adam Driver.
And Adam Driver was in it.
He's, and the thing, like...
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and it was kind of, like, it was not funny. Like, it made me laugh, but it wasn't really that funny that when, a lot of times when he kind of walked into a room, the audience would laugh a little bit. There'd be a little kind of titter, and it wasn't that kind of, oh, that's Kylo Ren. It's like, what the fuck's with this guy kind of laugh.
Yeah, because it was a very old audience.
It was, yes.
There's a sea of grey heads around us.
And as a little...
Not everyone who entered came out.
As a little review the audience, everyone was so restless. They kept getting up and going to the toilet, and I'm pretty sure the guy in front of us was getting up to answer his phone.
He left 3 times.
Yeah,
and then every time he came back,
his girlfriend explained to him what happened, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head.
Third time, see, I didn't realise it was a phone. I thought he might have had IBS because
his little Fitbit was lighting up, and that happens when you've got it paired and a call comes through. So that's where I know he must be answering his phone. But there were people to the left of us who were talking through the trailers, which is fine.
Really loudly, though.
Yeah. And there was a couple of trailers, and the music would swell and it would get louder, and so she would talk louder and louder to be heard over the top of the trailers, and then the music would drop and she'd be like, blah, 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 oh god, and I was just like, fucking self-awareness. And then she kept talking a tiny bit into the start of the movie, and then I heard one guy that this was a quite old group of people that were all together, and one guy said to her, oh, do you want a megaphone? And I was like, yes. Yeah. You fucking tell her.
People don't know how to behave.
Oh, Jesus. A little bit of self-awareness, people.
Yeah.
Oh, because we were sitting up the back thinking we're going to be away from all the rabble, and the rabble just gravitate towards us.
Yeah, if you're well behaved in a cinema, then come and sit near us, because you won't hear a fucking peep out of us. We will be watching the film, taking it all in, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yes.
We're not going to be IMDb-ing each other. I'm not going to go, that's Joel Edgerton to Jacinta, because she's seen films before. These are famous people.
Yeah.
He was General Zod, that guy. We know. We're not going to be IMDbing. We're not going to make jokey inside comments to each other about things that... When we do that, when we watch movies, it's when we watch movies at home and things that we've seen before or are watching to heckle.
Yes.
But we don't do it in public.
No.
So fucking put a lid on it,
unless the cinema was completely empty. And even then
we wouldn't
I'd feel a bit bad about it.
We'd do it afterwards.
Yes. So Midnight Special. I definitely not one that I would recommend rushing out to see.
No, I think it's going to be an acquired taste, and I think you definitely... It doesn't have that sense of being like an event. I
yeah.
think it's one of those things that you'd probably get more out of with a glass of wine on a quiet evening at home.
Yeah, absolutely. As it was ticking along, I was sort of thinking that I was kind of mentally comparing it a little bit to like 10 Cloverfield Lane in that...
I felt the same way.
In that it's going along and you're not quite sure what's happening, but you're still kind of on this journey, but I feel
and
like...
And then there's a kind of reveal or sort of,
Yeah, in
genre twist.
Yeah, in some ways I think that like 10 Cloverfield Lane probably did it a bit better. Like the pacing of 10 Cloverfield Lane was better. I didn't love the ending of 10 Cloverfield Lane as much as I found the ending of this quite satisfying.
I'm probably reversed on that. Yeah, I didn't love the ending of this.
I mean, it is similar to something else that we have seen before, but yeah, I don't know. I think I obviously can't explain it too much, but I found it quite beautiful, and I really liked the kind of engagement of the other characters with that ending as well.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
I prefer Cloverfield Lane overall because I think I really
overall,
enjoyed
10
the
Cloverfield
characters.
is a better movie, yeah.
But this is really well crafted. I just think that they should have called the film Laser Lad. Because then, like, people would flock and see it. And if you had, like, maybe a popcorn combo, like with a Laser Lad cup.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. And he's got his glowing eyes, and it's like, Laser Lad. Because Midnight Special...
Not glowing eyes, man. You can't be in the cinema with your cup lighting up.
Who's going to remember that? And with just, like, a drawing, like a painting of him with glowing eyes.
Yeah,
but what if they had 3D glasses and they glowed?
They were like his little goggles.
Yeah. See? Laser Lad.
Marketing.
Yeah. Maybe, a bit more upbeat on the soundtrack. Maybe do a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Put a bit of that in. So yeah, Midnight Special.
Solid 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah,
and mostly on the back of that cast. The cast was very good.
Yeah, I think I fall the same because really, if you didn't have that cast and it wasn't as nicely shot, but it was the same story,
there was not much else.
It could really be a quite forgettable direct-to-video kind of thing in terms of the story, but it was definitely elevated by the craft, and 3's better than average. 2.5 is that right down the middle. It was better than that, but didn't. I just couldn't get on board with it as much as it needed me to. Mm-hmm. So there you go, Midnight Special.
Midnight, not that special.
Whoa. There's your headline.
Zinger!
Put that on your poster. Alright, now, to wrap things up a bit, we were just going to talk about some books. A couple of recent pop culture books that came in, because, bloody... Our dear friend Kenny on the old forum said, I like it when you guys recommend stuff and talk about stuff that we might not know about. So, and we just happen to have some new stuff this week.
Just by complete coincidence.
Complete coincidence, so why not talk about that? So, you can start us off.
Alright, I will start off. Not to open up the Batman vs Superman floodgates once again, but...
Worst movie ever.
what a shithole of a movie.
Piece of shit.
Oh my god.
I can't believe I'd rather watch Electra.
I can't believe
again.
they even released that film. Anyway, pretty much as soon as I came out of, well, not as soon as I came out of the cinema, obviously, because I was complaining and weeping blood over how bad this movie was.
I would have rather watched Gods of Egypt again.
Anyway. I ordered from Book Depository, obviously the best online bookshop in the whole world.
Used to be better, though.
Yeah, it used to be a bit better. The Art of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, because technically, I'm sure it won't end up happening, but Gal Gadot is booked to come to Supernova in a couple of months, and I wanted to get her to sign something. And I didn't want just one of those 8x10s that are on the desk and you get them to sign. How boring. So I'm like, I'm going to get the art book. I'm going to get Gal Gadot to sign it. Wonder Woman. Brilliant. Wonderful. And this is actually a really nice book. Most people might be familiar with the Marvel Art of series. And this is a similar kind of size and thickness to those books. It does mean that it is different to the Man of Steel one, which I also have. That was just an A4 sort of book size, and now these two don't match, and I'm very upset. But
they were dummies making that other Superman Man of Steel one the format they did.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not have a landscape book for
absolutely
production art?
Yeah. The Superman was quite nice. Do you remember
it's
the
great,
texture
but it's
on the front?
It's the wrong friggin' shape.
It is. But this one, they have corrected their mistakes, and it's really nice. It kind of follows a similar sort of format to the Man of Steel one in that there are a lot of like production photos, and one of my biggest gripes is like the layout sketches and stuff. You know, where they what are those things called? Storyboards, where they like the Marvel ones will have pages and pages and pages of storyboards, and it drives me insane because I find them very boring. Other people wouldn't, but these they incorporate it into, you know, production art and shots from the film and that sort of thing, and it makes
very, very loose.
Yeah, and it is kind of a little bit cut up into sections. You know, your environments and your characters and that sort of thing. There is information about the characters and that sort of stuff.
Show me Wonder Woman's pages.
Oh, Wonder Woman's... Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, obviously, drawings of the design concepts for the costumes, because Batman and Wonder Woman obviously didn't have costumes prior to this film. And, all that. Oh, there's the red dress and...
Do they show you any of the other League members that were teased? Any Aquaman or anything?
I don't think so. I haven't had a very good look through this book. We've got
a little bit of
Doomsday.
Yeah, that's kind of bugs me a bit when they do that. And Marvel have done that as well. I know, like, everyone wants to protect spoilers and stuff, but the minute a film's out, like, what's it matter anyway? I'd rather they release the books a month later if they have to and put everything in it.
Yeah,
because
I guess
some of the more interesting elements of that film for me, the sorts of bits of design which kind of flash by that I want to actually really dig into are things like what we saw of the Flash, for example, of his costume in that certain scene.
Yeah, and I guess it is probably just, maybe they didn't know how much they were going to be including in the movie. It happened a lot with the Ant-Man book, was very slight on what they actually had in it, and that was, just because they hadn't, I think because they did a lot of reshoots and recuts and stuff of Ant-Man, and everything was a bit of a mess there, so the book kind of did reflect that in part. But I think even if you didn't particularly like Batman versus Superman as far as the storyline went, or you didn't think the idea of the characters were what you wanted, it's still a really nice art book.
I love it, just how they provide context. Like, people have such knee-jerk reactions to things, and I'm not saying that I like every design all the time or anything like that, but I really do appreciate learning how they got to where they got to, because even if you don't like it, it's not just that knee-jerk response of, oh, they fucked this up, they did the wrong thing. You get the...
That wasn't their first idea.
Yeah, you get the thought process behind it. Like, I thought it was really interesting. Obviously, there's been criticism. I mean, Force Awakens now has become like everybody's, it's fine, it's a good movie, but even those criticisms about some of those plot elements and things, I really appreciated reading how they got to that point and the genesis of those ideas, because I think a lot of the time, even if it wasn't that fulfilling in the film, you understand that the genesis of that idea actually came from a pretty good place. Yeah, they came up with it in good faith, and it might not have worked. It's the same even with you're hearing that so often. I've heard a lot of people complain about, like, comic people complain about the Margot Robbie Suicide Squad costume. And obviously, I think that's going to become pretty iconic because people seem to be swaying.
Yeah, the fans already love it. Like,
we saw
so
a lot
many
of people dressed as it.
They're
and
excited
also,
about the costume.
I think it's starting to get that Guardians of the Galaxy kind of vibe, which is probably also why they've gone into reshoots and stuff, because they're realizing it's going to be that kind of movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna cosplay as Captain Boomerang next year.
Fuck yes.
Why would you not?
I'll be Harley to your Boomerang. And but Margot Robbie has said in interviews they tried every possible version of that suit. You know, they tried the other stuff. They go through all that process and then they whittle down. But fans are like, oh, but you should have done this, and it's like, yeah, well, we fucking did, and it didn't work. So just
Relax,
just work with it, and at least appreciate that there are like real people behind them, real people that if you sort of met in person, you wouldn't be this much of a dick to. Like you would actually be quite interested to hear where they ended up, how they ended up, and they might not even be happy with where they ended up, but there's always more. So relax. And the other book here, Suzanne got this one. This is Star Wars The Force Awakens, the storybook. It's an illustrated storybook, very brief retelling of the film. It's really here for the art. Now, a lot of this art has also appeared on trading cards, I believe. It's very much like painted over movie stills, which feels more obvious in some cases.
Yeah, and there was a series of smaller books. There was, what was the one I got you? Ray and Finn's Escape, and I've got the Han Solo one, and it's the same art.
But what's interesting is it does look like production stills and things were used as well. Not everything is a direct shot from the movie. There is an extra scene here with Princess Leia before her reveal that happens in the movie where she talks to C-3PO and they realise that, what's his name? The guy, Max von Sydow's character at the beginning.
Yeah.
They realise that he's been killed and they have to do something about that. And the other interesting thing, just because I've ranted a lot about Rey's origins on this podcast before, I was curious to see how they dealt with, in this very condensed version, the flashback sequence, what they would have said about that. It says, this is all it says. In the center of the room was an old wooden box. As Rey approached the box, her mind was overwhelmed with visions of Kylo Ren, the First Order, and the destruction that was to come. Then she heard a voice, both familiar and strange. I'll come back, sweetheart. I promise. So no mention of the lightsaber, actually. Maz pulls that out on the next page just for Finn. Rey doesn't see it. But this, I'll come back, sweetheart, I promise. Whereas in the film, it's these are the first steps. It's Obi-Wan. Interesting.
Yeah.
Presumably from an earlier version of the story. The voice familiar and strange. It's interesting because in the film, Maz is pretty much like whoever you're expecting to come back is not going to come back. The word sweetheart.
So, well, I mean, I guess the first thing is that you're thinking, well, it's her parent.
Yeah.
But it could just be a term of endearment of somebody that had looked after her. Doesn't necessarily have to be a parent, but that's, I guess, the first thought.
Just out of our main characters, who's more likely to say sweetheart? That's a Han Solo thing.
It is
That's
a Han
not a Luke
Solo
Skywalker thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Because obviously all my theories revolve around Luke. But,
well, I would, I guess the theories do revolve around Luke, being kind of a parent. I never would have, never in that did I think that Luke was the one that dropped her off.
Yeah, maybe Han did.
Yeah.
That would be good of him.
Yeah, I thought, well, I didn't necessarily think Han either, but just somebody else took her, because then it would be too obvious if people were tracking, or Luke or Han, that people are going to have eyes on them to see where this kid's gone.
Maybe it was the last thing Han did before he fucked off, though.
Maybe.
But then surely she'd recognise the voice because she's just been hanging out with Han.
Yeah. And she wasn't like a baby when she was dropped off either, so she's old enough to remember Han.
Yeah. Star Wars The Force Awakens storybook. You are
giving more questions than answers.
Too many extra questions. But look, I haven't had a chance to look through all of it. It's only really just arrived. But a very interesting additional angle on the whole story, and cool art.
Yeah, really cool art. I will definitely be picking myself up a copy for my steadily building new generation Star Wars library.
Man, look at Rey there in her final costume, lover. What a little monkey. Oh, and look at this final page.
Oh, that's sweet. That Luke Skywalker with his hood, nice.
taking off the hood and going, hey there. And of course, by the time we speak to you next week, the Blu-ray will have come out in Australia.
It will have, yeah.
And I'm sure we will both own a copy of that.
We will do, yeah. There was a few places that broke street date over this weekend, but hadn't been able to find any here as yet.
No, not been able to grab a copy as of yet.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have bought it digital.
Yeah.
But I'm buying it. I want the extras, so I'm not going to pay for it digital and then buy it again for the behind the scenes stuff. So I'll just wait.
Physical copy.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to watch that little clip of Poe dancing in his flight suit over and over and over again. Yeah.
On that sickening note, I believe we've probably reached the end of the show.
Yeah, I need to go and think about some things. So next week will be Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book.
Doctor Strange trailer. Are you Force Awakens special features? God, look, what a time.
Yeah.
What a time to be. Didn't you feel that after Rogue One? When you're still on this sort of Force Awakens high, and then you see the Rogue One trailer, and it's just like, what a time to be alive. Like, Star Wars movies are going to just, like, rule my life for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
That's a nice prospect.
I love me some Star Wars. Some breaking news right there.
What, really?
Yep.
Crazy.
So thanks for listening. Please follow us, follow everything we're doing. You can go to fruitlesspursuits.com to find out about all our podcasts. There's a new Book Was Better tomorrow in theory as well, which the old Hector Weenus is joining me for the original Clash of the Titans.
Oh, nice.
With Bubo the Owl.
And Harry Hamlin and both his lips.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure I'll force myself to do that at the last possible minute. And, you find links to our Facebook. We've got some new friends lately. There was, you put up great galleries of all the cosplay since Comic-Con.
Every convention we go to, I always think, oh my god, I've slacked off, I've hardly done any work, and then I get all my photos together and go, oh no, yeah, I did. I did quite a bit of work.
So definitely check out those. We always appreciate likes and follows and ratings and reviews and Patreons and all those sorts of things. There's lots of ways you can... And we've had a couple of new members on the group recently as well, so people are finding us, and we appreciate it. We love to have you on board. I'm hoping that maybe somebody from the live comics reading, which happened last night, and I plugged the shows at the end, maybe even someone has started listening. And is sorely disappointed with the quality of going, do I want to talk about a 2-minute Star Wars trailer for
half
25
an hour?
minutes?
Yeah.
Is that something I need in my life?
Well, look, there's the door. But, they can't all be winners, as we say every week when they're not winners.
I think this was fine. This is just like...
It was fine, yeah. It's just like Midnight Special.
This is a 3 stars.
It's fine. It's
three
a
out of 5.
3-star episode.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll catch you next time, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see ya.
We need a stronger finish than that.
We probably do.
Hot mama.